before the baby's birth, as a means to keep Catherine in hiding, and one he'd breathed often in the 3 weeks since Cian's arrival in order to quell any rebellion on Diana's part. The worst was knowing he'd do it, either in a fit of rage or as a calculated move to bring someone under submission to his will. "And will we stay in London the entire season?" She infused her voice with innocent inquiry.
"Of course. It takes time to arrange a marriage and a proper society wedding. After you are presented at court, I'll start the negotiations. Once I find a suitable husband, your sponsor will take care of the wedding details."
He waved his hands, as if what happened to her after the wedding were of little consequence. Diana must be careful here. If he thought she was manipulating him, a shudder went through her. "Are you worried about news spreading in your absence that there's a baby at Seaton Manor, if you're not here to quell the gossip?" He had gone so far as to forbid having a midwife or accoucheur in attendance at the birth, for fear of word getting out. And when complications had set in, neither Diana, who was completely inexperienced, nor Mrs. Hadsworth, the housekeeper, had been able to prevent Catherine's death. Perhaps bringing the child to London, where you could have more control over who might learn of his existence. She hated herself for even uttering these words, but it was all she could think of to sway him. If you turn him over to the orphanage here, everyone in the village is likely to know where he came from. But in London, there are many orphanages, and you would be assured of anonymity. Her father's gaze narrowed over the cut-glass tumbler, and she held her breath. Beyond the heavily curtained windows over his shoulder, snow fell in fat flakes. 2 weeks too late to give them a white Christmas. Travelling to London would be arduous, even if the snow melted soon. The roads would be a muddy morass. She should be excited about a trip to the capital, a place she'd never been, though her entire life had been spent in preparation for the event. She should be eager to wear the elaborate gown created for her appearance before Queen Charlotte at court, about attending the social events, about meeting new people. She should be anticipating an escape from Seaton Manor, where the mullions and muntins in the windows might as well have been prison bars, and the dominance of her father. And for most of her life, she had expected the season to be her emancipation. But now all she wanted was to stay hidden in the Berkshire countryside with a newborn boy she loved as her own and had promised to protect.
You could be right. Tossing him into a London orphanage would be easier if we want to keep it a secret.
Father set the glass down hard on the rosewood table.
Very well. Tell the nurse to get ready to travel. We leave in the morning.
Waiting until he strode out, slamming the door in his wake, Diana rounded the chair and sagged onto the brocade cushion. She felt like a rag doll, with all the sawdust leaking out. Elation that Cian would be coming along, warred with fear that she had only hastened his being placed in an institution, and clamminess swept over her skin. Lord, help me find a way to keep him safe, to keep my promise to Catherine. It was a prayer constantly in her heart and on her lips. But did praying do any good? Was God listening? Did he care about an illegitimate child that nobody but her seemed to love? Diana had never been certain that God cared about her prayers, or that she was of enough significance to arouse his interest. When Diana had been small, her nurse had prayed aloud, but only that Diana would be a good girl and not tax her nurse's patience. The rector at the girls' school Diana had attended had read all his prayers from a book, as if he were bored. Only the assistant matron in her dormitory had taught them that God wanted a personal relationship with them through his son Jesus, that it was right and proper to read scripture and pray from the heart. How Diana wished she had Miss Bonham to talk to now. Diana prayed, but she sometimes wondered if her words reached any farther than the chandelier, since nothing she had prayed for seemed to have changed her circumstances. Before she could summon the strength to rise and head to the nursery, the drawing-room door opened again. Her heart leapt to her throat. Had her father returned? Had he changed his mind?